Hola mis amores, welcome to today's episode of the Get Unstuck podcast with your boo, Nory. Hi, I'm so excited for today's conversation because I get to have some one-on-one time with you all. I've missed you. How is your spirit today? How are you feeling? Like seriously, how are you feeling? How is your spirit on this day as you're listening to this podcast? A lot of us don't ask that question. A lot of us don't take time to feel that. So I want this to be your moment, whether it's in the week or in the day or whenever, that you're taking a second to ask yourself how your spirit is today. Please let me know. At me on Instagram at Nory or send me an email at Nory@IamHealthyFit.com. In today's episode, I am going to be sharing a quick update on what I've been up to since I last talked to y'all, because with all these amazing guests the podcast has been having, we have cut back on our one-on-one time. So I want to give you an update on what's been going on with me. I want to share some fan love. Oh my God, we had some amazing love on our reviews. Thank you so much for dropping those 5 stars and 6 stars. I appreciate you with all my soul. So we're going to give a major shout out to one of our listeners who has dropped us a review on Apple Podcasts, iTunes Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, because I think they're about to change the name or something. And then I'm also going to talk to you about how I realized the root of me not believing in myself. A lot of us struggle with feelings of not feeling that we're good enough. And I recently worked through some of those challenges on my own. I did some deep dives and I've got some really insightful information that today I'm really excited to share with you, that not hopefully, you need to take this information and figure out why is it that you don't believe that you may not be good enough, so that you can begin to manifest the life that you deserve, the life that you are worthy of. So I'm super excited to share that with y'all today. First thing is first, what have I been up to? So since I last talked to y'all, we had some amazing guests on the podcast. Like, can we give a quick shout out to how dope the guests have been that we've been talking to since the podcast came back? Lord have mercy. Like, can we give some love to my husband, whose episode is doing really well? Yeah, I really digging this conversation that I had with JP. I want to give some love to my client Sharon, who episode with anxiety and how to overcome that has done really, really well. Yeah, I really digging that. And if you wanted to get a quick update on Sharon, she's no longer stressing about the laundry. Yeah, she's now outsourced the laundry so she can spend more time with her new baby girl. I also want to give a major shout out to Tanya, who came on the podcast and talked about motherhood after 30. That episode has been really enlightening to me as I'm thinking about having a kid in the future. I don't know when, so don't be in my DMs asking me when I'm going to get pregnant, because I may or may not. And then I also want to give a shout out to my brother, Ilber Sanchez. His episode, he was the second man to join us on the podcast, and y'all are digging this fellas getting vulnerable and open. So we're going to bring them back once a month to come and talk, not necessarily Ilber, but different male guests to come and share their perspective. I'm already working on a few guests that I think are going to be really, really good for us to talk to and to just share a different perspective. So I wanted to take a moment as I begin the month of June, because this episode is being recorded on the 1st of June, as we start this new month, or we start this new opportunity to do the best that we can to achieve our goals and to manifest our deepest dreams. I want to take a moment to thank them for being a part of the family and for just coming through and dropping some love with us. Like, I'm just grateful for them. It takes a lot to be open and honest and uncomfortably honest, especially with other people. So I'm really grateful that they have taken time to spend some time with me. So that's the first thing I wanted to do, is shout out all the guests that have joined us since we started season 2. The second thing I want to do is give you an update on what your girl has been up to. Let me tell you something. I am manifesting left and right now. I am manifesting my deepest dreams. I'm manifesting my desires. I'm also getting read by the universe, because healing doesn't come easy. And one of the things I've learned in the past 4 weeks since I last talked to y'all was that I really needed to spend some time in pain. And you might be listening to this and you might be like, Nory, what are you talking about? Spend what time in pain? Like, ain't nobody trying to do that because nobody got time for that. But the reality is that healing, real solid healing happens when you run towards the pain. When I used to practice yoga, the instructors will always say, run towards the pain. Like if you feel like you're stretching a certain area, breathe through that area, run towards the pain. When I used to play tennis, my instructor used to be like, hey, you need to continue pushing through. Whenever you feel like there's a setback, you need to continue pushing through. When I joined my sorority and I was, doing the work of the sorority, I always found that it was when things got difficult, when I felt like almost about to quit, is when things turned around. So this is a theme that has been a part of my life for many, many years. And now I'm seeing it manifested when it comes to my own internal healing, when it comes to tuning in back to myself. And over the past 4 weeks, I've been doing a lot of that. I've been tuning in, I've been paying attention, I've been listening. And if you're wondering, girl, what does that even mean? What does that look like? Let's get practical. I got you. A few weeks ago, I spent an entire day in my office crying. And as I'm sharing this with you, I want you to know that I'm good. Like I am good. And I needed to spend that time in solitude, letting those tears flow through my face so that I can feel the pain of the intensity of where I allow myself to get. So sometimes when we feeling situations that are really hurtful, we ask ourselves, why me? Why me, Lord? Why me, universe? Why me? Why now? Why are you putting me through this? I don't want to deal with this pain. I don't want to deal with this discomfort. But instead, for the first time in my life, I asked myself, what am I here to learn? What am I here to receive? What blessing is here for me so that I can move on to the next season of my life, so that I can level up in my own life? And it was the first time I did that. And it was hard because it sucks to feel uncomfortable. It sucks to feel pain. It sucks to know that you've put yourself in situations that are not in alignment with who you want to be and the woman that you want to become. It sucks to see that. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Because that's the thing about self-awareness. Once you become self-aware, you cannot unsee your self-awareness. So for me, last few weeks were really challenging. Becoming a business owner, learning what it means to be a business owner. Everybody want to be a CEO and a boss, but don't nobody know how to be a CEO and a boss. And I've been learning how little I knew about being a CEO and being a boss. I'm learning how unaware and how unprepared I was for this role that I took on for myself. And that doesn't mean that I don't bring results. That doesn't mean that I don't deliver to my clients. It means that I had no idea how this journey will make me feel. I had no idea what kind of trials I will be put through this journey so that I can continue to deliver my best to the people that I come around with. And now I'm realizing it, and it's like, wow, your sis didn't know. She was so unaware. And there's something really powerful that happens when you realize that you really don't know nothing. And the more you learn, you come to terms with how little you do know. And that can be really interesting, and it could be overwhelming sometimes, and it can be exhausting. So over the past few weeks, I've been coming to terms with that, and I've been surrendering to the fact that I don't know anything. Even the things I know, I don't know because I only know them from a certain perspective. I only know them from what I've experienced. I only know them from how I see the world. And there's a huge part of me that needs to be available and open to seeing the things the universe wants me to see. And sometimes I don't see these things because my pattern is to see what I want to see, manifested how I wanted to see it manifested. And sometimes when things don't show up how you want to see them, how you think they need to look, how you've been told they're going to look, you miss out on them. You miss out on opportunities. You miss out on growth. You miss out on your flourishing. You miss out on your next level up because you're too busy looking for something that doesn't look how you thought it was going to look. And that's the thing I've learned about business. That's the thing I've learned in the last few weeks is that you have to be available to see what you cannot see yet. You have to be available to see things differently than what you thought they were going to look like and to feel them for the first time. You can't know what it's like to be a CEO of a company if you've never been a CEO before. You cannot know what it's like to be a boss of your company if you've never been a boss before. And when I'm saying be a boss of a business that generates income in a certain way. And that's what I'm learning for the first time. And it's been great. I mean, today I'm recording this podcast and I feel full of energy, full of gratitude, full of love for what I'm doing. And it's not always like that. Some days I'm like, I love talking to my clients and I love helping them and giving them results. It's everything else around that I don't really feel like doing. And that's the part that you need to do to be able to deliver the results. That the part they need to do so that you can show up and do the work that you love to do. I meet people and they say, hey, I want to help so-and-so, but I need funding to start doing that. And I tell them, start helping now. Find a person that needs your help and give it to them. And for many years, I thought I needed more. Something was missing for me to deliver and for me to help people and for me to do what I love. And now it's like, I do what I love with anyone. It could be a stranger in the street. I'm going to listen to you. We're going to talk about it. And if there's a way that I can pour into your spirit, I will. And if you can pour into my spirit, I will receive it and I will be open to it. And a lot of us are not there. A lot of us do not see that and are not available to that. And I was one of those people that wasn't available to that until I realized that I wasn't available to that. And now I'm more open to that than ever before. So as a result of that, Memorial Day weekend, I spent it in Atlanta. I went to the Please Go Build Your Own Brand conference, which was one of the best conferences I've attended as a content creator, as an influencer, as a millennial. There was so much, I want to say so much Black excellence, but I also just want to say so much human excellence, because it was a very diverse conference, not just for Black folk, but people of color, there were even a few white people there. So it was just really a diverse space. And it was the energy at this place, if I can describe it, was like this beautiful flow of synergy. Everybody wanted to connect with people. Everybody wanted to see how they can support, how they can show up for them, and how we can pour into each other as a unit so that as a people, we can become stronger. And it just felt so good to be in a space like that, because I've been to conferences where people are really guarded. People are not really giving tactical information. You walk away feeling like, okay, that was cute, but what am I supposed to do with that? How am I supposed to implement this with my audience? And walking out of that conference, I really felt like I was part of a family. I really felt like it was just the space to be. So if you are at the BYOB conference and you ever need anything, slide in your girl's DMs, because you are family, and anything you need, I am here for you. And the same applies to any of you that might be listening to the podcast. I am here for you to pour into your spirit in any way that I can. So with that said, that's pretty much what I've been up to. I spent the weekend in Atlanta. It was great. My husband went and we got to meet so many beautiful souls. They poured so much into us. So it was really good. I even got to see some of my friends that I hadn't seen in a while. One of my frat brothers I hadn't seen in I don't know, maybe even 7-8 years. So it was really great to connect with him and see him. So it was really awesome to be able to do what I do and show up in other ways for other people and to still see people that I love. So it just felt really, really good to be out there and to do something different as a business owner, but also as just a human planting seeds of self-love into anyone that she meets. So that was Atlanta. It was a win. If you have considered going to this conference and if hast, highly recommend that you come through. And I really plan on going to this conference for however long they host it, because it is really a beautiful space and it was just really well done. And even the things that I felt that they could do better, I felt like they still served their purpose. So really, really solid conference. I really enjoyed my time there. So besides growing, besides flourishing, besides facing some truths about myself, and besides going to Atlanta, what else have I been up to? I've been working out. I got back into the gym. And when I say the gym, I'm in my living room, my office. I've been doing T25. So that's been keeping me busy and getting my body right. Because yeah, now I lay by the beach, always summertime. So that's been cool. And just what else have been going on with me? Journaling, still working with my clients, still pouring into them. Like one thing I've learned about the work that I do is how much we have to learn from other people. A lot of times my clients think that I'm just pouring into them, but they really pour into me too. And I think that through this work, I've been able to see how much people can pour into us if we are available to that. And it just makes me wonder, how many people have I missed out on pouring into me because I've been distracted, because I've been focused on their title, or because I've been thinking that they cannot pour into me, or because I've been feeling like, no, you don't look like the person that pours into me, making these judgments about them. And now I'm seeing that everyone can pour into our spirit if we allow them to. So it's just been a beautiful journey for me over the past 4 weeks to really face and be open to. All right. So let's get into this fan love segment. Also, I'm going to be a DJ one day. Random note. Okay. So fan love. I want to give this love to Savvy MME, who left us a review titled, "You Really Don't Know What You Don't Know." All right, Savvy, thank you so much. We're going to read her review. Like, I really didn't realize how many things in daily life I cope with and take as a norm as a Black millennial self-employed woman. Just hearing the different experiences and realizing we really aren't normal. We are phenomenal. And the fact that we think it's normal means we're highly extraordinary. So thank you for the reminder. It's nice to hear it come from Nory and her brilliant guest in Wani Umalali, our voice. That's Wani Umalali means our voice in Garifuna. Glad I'm subscribed and get to catch up on it all. What? I love it. Savvy MME. Thank you so much for leaving us a 5-star review. I appreciate you, girl. I love you. I thank you for dropping by and sharing your insight with me. This means a lot because this is why we do the podcast, right? So that people can see themselves represented and people can see their stories and really acknowledge and realize how amazing they are. You are amazing beyond measure. You are powerful. You are phenomenal. So if you're listening to this podcast and you've been looking for a sign to remind you how great you are and how dope you are, this is it. You are a badass. All right. And you need to go out there and manifest your badassery in any shape or form. So thank you, Savvy MME, for letting us know that you're listening and you're enjoying the podcast. Y'all make sure y'all follow suit. Go check us out on Apple Podcasts and leave us a review because you already know it's review season. All right. Okay. So now that we're done with our fan love segment, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about something I learned about myself in the past 4 weeks that left me a little shook. Honestly, this realization left me a little bit like, oh, wow, I had no idea that was going on. And that is, I've been struggling with feeling like I'm good enough. And I don't know if I'm alone on this one. If I am alone on this one, hit me up and let me know how you're dealing with this, how you are able to keep yourself from that state. So I realized that I was struggling with the business in some areas, and I started digging to figure out, why am I struggling with the business in this way? What is it about what I'm doing that's keeping me from achieving what I want to achieve? And y'all know I help millennial women get unstuck. I help them dig deep and understand their negative thought patterns and take control of their lives. So I was like, okay, let's do this for ourselves. Let's go back and do a deep dive into us to determine what is the thing that's keeping us from leveling up. Because one thing I've learned is that people don't have business problems. People have personal problems that manifest in the business. So I'm like, what personal problems do I have that are currently manifesting in my business, that are currently keeping me from reaching the next level? We will be right back after this brief message. Hola, mis amores. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Get Unstuck podcast. I love having these conversations because they help shed light on the issues many millennial women feeling stuck are struggling with on a daily basis as they look for ways to overcome their paralysis. Can you do me a favor? If you find this episode helpful, please leave me a review and tell me what connected with you about this conversation. It will help me bring you guests that you're going to love, and you may catch your thoughts during our fan love segment. Now back to the episode. So I went and did a deep dive. I started journaling and just really paying attention and reading between the lines of my behavior. And I realized that the reason why the personal problem that was manifesting was the lack of belief in myself, this belief that I wasn't good enough. This belief that no matter what I did, there was something that could have been done better. There was something that was missing. There was something that wasn't good enough for whoever it was that I was delivering to. And I was like, okay. So now we know it's this belief of not being good enough. Where does this belief come from? Where did you learn how to feel like that? And it turns out that I learned how to feel like this when I was a kid. And this is what I'm telling you right now, like this stuff, this patterns that we've developed, they run deep. This stuff is rooted in like childhood. This stuff is rooted in like stuff that you have had for years that you didn't even know existed. Okay. So if you are in the healing process, you need to be available to the fact that some of the stuff that's holding you back from seeing the progress you want to see and from manifesting the results you want to manifest are rooted in your core. And you need to go back and shake all of that, disrupt all of that so that you can be able to reach the next level until you can manifest what you're trying to do in your life. So in the quest to do that, I went and I did that deep dive myself. And I realized that the reason why I did not believe in myself, the reason why I did not believe I was good enough, it was because I did not believe in myself. Now, you might be asking yourself, Nory, how can you not believe in yourself? You got this popping podcast. You out here making this coin, securing the bag with these clients, helping them see results. How can you not believe in what you're doing? How can you not believe in yourself? Well, girl, that is the same question I was asking myself. You know what I mean? Like, that was me. That was the conversation I had with myself. Like, how can this be possible when you're living this life? Are you a fraud? Are you lying about it? What's going on? And I realized that, no, I'm not a fraud. No, I'm not lying about it. But what I had going on was I had never really taken the time to do things because of me. So as a result, my intentions were really keeping me from leveling up. And I'm going to explain that to y'all. One of the things I realized as I was doing this deep dive was that the reason why I did not believe in myself is because I didn't know how to isolate the feelings of believing in yourself. I didn't know what that really felt like. And the reason why I didn't know what that felt like was because overwhelmingly through my life, I've been the person that's pouring into other people. I've been the person that's doing her best for everybody else, that's making sure everybody else is good. And that comes at the expense of me. I make sure everybody's good. And when I do that, I'm saying no to me. Because every time you say yes to someone else, you're saying no to yourself. So I was like, wow, okay. My husband asked me a question that really turned things around for me. He asked me, well, what are you doing right now that you're just doing for yourself? And let me tell you something. I can only name 3 to 4 things. 1 was pole dancing because I know I love to pole dance. 2 was this podcast, which I do for myself. I have these conversations for me. Like, I love talking to y'all. I love sharing what I'm learning. I love talking to the guests and being able to help inspire you to take action in your own life through their journey. So this podcast was number 2. And number 3 was working with my clients. And I think I had number 4 was marrying him. I was like, marrying you, I did that for myself. So I looked at my hand and I'm like, I can't even complete a whole hand of things I've done for myself. And suddenly I was like, then what have you been doing? Who are you doing all these other things for? Everything you've done in your life, who is that for? What has been driving your intention behind those actions? And I had to face some reality about myself that a lot of what I've been doing was to please my mom, was so that my mom can be proud of me, which is really weird because I'm currently my mother's favorite child. So let me just tell you that everybody knows this. So the fact that I will be feeling like I need her approval, it's kind of weird because I already have it. She's already proud of me and all this other stuff, but I still was seeking that approval. If you scroll down my Facebook personal profile, and if we're not friends, we need to become friends, add me, Nory.Suhey, I think is my name. If you scroll on that page on my profile, you will see pictures of when I got my master's, and it says, this is for my queen, this is for my mom. When I got my bachelor's, it was like, this is for my queen, this is for my mom. I talk about all my accomplishments and I'm always saying that this is for her, this is for her. Why is that? Why is that? Why is it that all these accomplishments are for her? Why can't those things be for me? Why can't I do these things for myself? And I started realizing as I asked these questions that I hadn't really been asking myself those questions before. And as a result, I had been living my life, most of it, trying to please this person, trying to make sure they were proud of me, trying to make sure that they love me and that they continue to feel good about me and the things that I did. And as a result, I was sacrificing myself. Like, in order to make my mother proud, I was doing things that I didn't necessarily feel like doing because I wanted her to be proud, which led me to asking the question, how many things are we doing in our lives because we don't want to disappoint other people, but we're willing to disappoint ourselves? How many things are we doing and how many hours of our day are we spending doing things and engaging with people, exchanging energy with folks that we really wouldn't be doing if it wasn't because somebody else is the reason why we're doing that. Our intentions are not really in ourselves, but with other people. And that had me a little shook because a lot of us think we do things for us, and we are doing things for us, but what are your intentions for doing those things? And I've talked about intentions before and how important it is that you check your intentions because your intentions are more critical than the action itself. If you are doing something because you need attention and you want to meet your thirst for attention, it's different than if you are doing something because you genuinely want to help. And those were questions I had to ask myself. And when I realized that a lot of why I didn't believe in myself had to do with the fact that I have been living most of my life seeking to make somebody else happy, seeking to make somebody else proud, seeking to make somebody else love me, I understood something really powerful. The reason why I kept on doing that was because I felt that if I stopped doing those things, if I stopped sacrificing myself for her, if I stopped making her proud, she was going to stop loving me. And that's something. I was so afraid to not be loved in the way that I thought love needed to be, that I was willing to live a life separate to what I really wanted to live in order to ensure that love stuck around. And that was deep, y'all. That was something that I really had to sit with and really come to terms with, because a lot of us don't realize that we're doing that. A lot of us don't realize that we are willing to live our lives as part of somebody else's life. We're willing to secure someone else's legacy outside of our own because we don't want people to stop loving us. We are willing to not love ourselves and not care for ourselves and to put ourselves last so that other people will potentially put us in their top 10, so that other people will potentially love us back. And that did not sit well with me. And for the first time, I realized that I had no idea that was going on. So I wanted to come on today and share that experience with you, because maybe you're finding yourself there right now. Maybe you're listening right now and asking, why do I keep on doing these things that I don't really feel like doing, that are not really in alignment with who I want to be, but I feel like I can't stop? Why do I feel like I cannot take a break for myself because everything else is going to go, it's going to become a shit show? Why? Maybe you're asking yourself, why is it that I cannot accomplish the thing I want to accomplish for myself, but I can do it for other people? Maybe that's where you are right now, because that's where I was. I was trying to understand, how can I bring results to my clients and deliver for them, but when it comes to me, I'm struggling. Why is that? And it turns out that it was because I hadn't done enough for myself. The actions that I had taken, the intentions weren't really fully within myself. They weren't things I was doing because I really, really wanted to do them because of Nory. So I couldn't be consistent with them. I couldn't stick around with them. And he made it hard to do that because my intuition was trying to lead me in one direction. And I'm trying to follow other people's intuition because I want to make them proud. I don't want to disappoint them. I don't want to upset them. And to live your truth, people talk about living your truth and how that sounds super empowering. But to live your truth, you have to be ready to disappoint other people. You have to be ready to change your behavior. You have to be ready to show up for yourself and not show up for them. You have to be ready to say yes to you and say no to them. How many of us are ready to do that? So that meant I had to say no to my mama about some things. And that was hard because I like to say yes a lot. I'm just like you. I don't like conflict. I ain't trying to do all of that. I'd be like, yes, whatever. But I had to learn that no, you need to say no. And saying no is okay. And her being disappointed for not getting what she wants, that's okay. She has her own life. She could live it. And you have your own life. You can live your life too. And so many times we feel like we need to become an extension of our parents' legacy, or we need to be an extension of whoever raised us legacy. And that means that we put our own dreams, our own lives to the side so that we can make room for them. And you don't got to do that. And I realized that's the reason why I was struggling with the business. So I decided to take some steps against that. I decided to really center myself on focusing on my intention. And that required me to ask myself some tough questions about, why are you doing what you're doing? Is this really what you need to be doing? What are you willing to give up to continue doing what you're doing? And who are you willing to step away from in order to achieve what you want to achieve? I used to be the friend that will always call everybody. That used to be my pride. I love being needed. I love when I call people and they'd be like, I knew you would call me. I knew you was going to check on me. I love being that friend. Like, your kid got a birthday party, I'm going to show up. You getting married, I'm going to show up. You're doing this, I'm going to show up. I love showing up for my friends because I probably felt like people didn't show up for me like that growing up. So I didn't want to be that person. But that has come at quite a cost. It has cost me a lot to be that friend. It has cost me a lot to be that daughter. It has cost me a lot to be that sister that shows up for everybody else. Because while I was spending all of my time being the friend that my friends love because she shows up for them, guess what I wasn't doing? Showing up for myself. Guess what I wasn't doing? Listening to myself. Guess what I wasn't doing? Putting myself first. Guess what I wasn't doing? Setting my intentions within myself. And that comes at a cost. And you have to ask yourself, am I willing to pay the price? Am I willing to sacrifice all these things about myself to be this person that I think I need to be so that people will love me? And the answer is no. You don't need to be this thing that you think you don't need to sacrifice yourself so that people can love you. People are going to love you regardless. And if they don't love you, guess what? They don't need to be around for you like that. You don't need that energy in your life. So today I want to invite you to do an intention check. Okay? Check your intentions right now. Look around at your life. Look around at your goals, at your dreams, at your aspirations, and ask yourself, how am I standing in the way of who I am meant to be because I'm so focused on being who I think I need to be? Because that's where I was, girl. Or guy, because I know I got some fellas listening. Hey, boo. That's where I was. And it's a real honest question to ask yourself, and be ready to be uncomfortably honest with yourself about this. Don't sugarcoat it. Journal about it. Talk to yourself about it. Put it in writing. Just get it out your head. Because too many of us are sacrificing who we are meant to be on this earth because we are afraid that we will not be loved if we stop being who we think we need to be. And that's not what you're here for. You're not here to be who you think you need to be. You're here to be who you're meant to be. You're here to manifest abundance in your life. You're here to manifest growth in your life. You're here to manifest wealth in your life. You're here to manifest all the things that you want to do in your life. But you can't do that if you're too busy following other people's intuition. You can't do that if you're too busy not trying to disappoint people. You can't do that if you're too busy trying to make everybody else proud while you yourself are put to the last. You're putting yourself last so that you can put them first. And we all done it. We have looked at the list, the to-do list for the day, and been like, oh man, I can move myself last. It's cool. I'm gonna get to myself later. I need to get to this. This is more important. When the most important thing is you. You are the most important thing on your agenda. And if the day doesn't start and end with you, it is starting and ending with somebody else. Who is that? And why do they get to go above you? You only get to live once, right? Why are we willing to give away this one chance we have for other people instead of giving it to ourselves to live the life that we want to live? So that's really what I wanted to share with you today. Wanted to keep it brief and quick because, some of our episodes are longer. And if you wanted me to share more on this topic, please let me know. I'm more than willing. Y'all know I'm an open book. I love talking about this stuff. And as I'm learning these things for myself, you might be wondering, well, how did this help in the business? Let me tell you something. It helped a lot. After I realized that I was doing things for my mother, I was able to release that desire. I was able to do a few exercises so that I am no longer feeling bound by that. I understand that this is a process, so it's not going to happen overnight. So this is something that I'm actively working through, and it has helped me a lot. It also helped me realize what it feels like to be confident as I'm speaking about the things that I love. It helped me realize what it feels like to do things because you really want to do them. And what does that feel like? A lot of us say that we want things, but we have no idea what these things feel like. So when they show up, we're like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what that feels like. I don't know. I have no idea. Well, I know what that confidence feels like for me. I know what that self-awareness feels like for me. And I also know how uncomfortable those feelings can be so that I can take action. So it's been a real blessing to me that the universe continues to open my eyes this way. And I continue to become more and more available to be self-aware in this way. And I invite you to do the same. I invite you to ask yourself, what are the things I'm currently doing right now that are keeping me from who I need to be because I'm so focused on being who I think I need to be so that people can love me, because those people are going to love you regardless. You don't need to hide yourself, to hide your true self, or you don't need to pretend to be something you're not in order to make other people love you. If that's what you have to do to make other people love you, then those people don't need to be in your life. You need new people loving you. And there are a lot of people in the world that will love you. I am ready to love you. I'm ready to show up for you. And that's because I've learned that I need to show up for me first. So the first thing I want you to do is show up for you. People ask me, Nory, what can I do for you? How can I help you? And I tell them, you can help me by showing up for yourself. You can help me by putting yourself at the number one spot on your list and not bumping yourself for anybody else. You can help me by loving yourself unconditionally when it's convenient, when it's inconvenient, when it feels good, when it sucks, when it's painful, but when it's also comfortable. That's how you can help me. Because when you do that, you won't need me. You won't need to be talking to me or people that do the work that I do, because you're going to be good. And even if you do that and you do need me, it'll be easier for us to work together because you would already began that process of self-awareness. And that's really all I can ask for. So I invite you today, as you begin this new month, as you go into the new month and you're opening new ideas and opening to new possibilities and manifesting new things in your life, I invite you to enter the space with an intention check. Check your intentions. Why are you doing things? Where did you learn to do things that way? How is that pouring into your spirit? How is that feeding your soul? And then move forward. All right? It was great catching up with y'all. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. We have some amazing guests lined up for you. So please stay tuned, subscribe to the podcast, and share with a friend. Send this note to the person that you know has been struggling. We all know that person. You're thinking about them right now. You're listening and being like, yo, so-and-so needs to hear this episode. You got to send this to so-and-so because they do need to hear this episode. And they need to be ready to manifest the things that they want to do for themselves. And that starts with them. That starts with putting them at the top of the list. So I love you. Take care. Thank you so much, Savvy MME, for your awesome review. Drop by Apple Podcasts and leave your girl a 5 or 6-star review because you already know what time it is. Check me out on social and I will talk to you soon. Hasta luego. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Get Unstuck podcast. I know you have endless options you can listen to while driving, working out, riding the train, or cooking your favorite meal. I truly appreciate that you've decided to spend your time with me. I hope today's conversation left you feeling a little less stuck and empowered to take action towards becoming the woman that you want to be. If you found today's episode helpful, please show us some love by leaving us a 5-star or 6-star review on Apple Podcasts. You can also find us on Spotify, Stitcher, or Google Play. To get a show notes, head to IamHealthyFit.com and make sure you join the mailing list. You'll get access to a free training video to help you overcome your paralysis, get out of your head, and love yourself no matter what, starting today. If you want to keep the conversation going, you can find me on Instagram at Nory Pouncil. That's NORYPOUNCIL. Hasta luego.